all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, J-Bird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
Good. Whoa, that's awful loud. What's going on there, guys? Hey. Hey, good afternoon, Quad Cityans. Sorry.
It's all right.
I just scared myself.
Something's.
Did someone bring a change of shorts for me? I think I pooped
I always
myself.
keep an extra in my car just for you, buddy.
Oh, lordy. You got that big pants in your car?
Yep.
Oh, great.
Okay.
All right, Jay, what were you trying to do? Give Dad a heart attack?
I think something got messed around with in here.
Yeah, I think, you know what I think?
What's that?
I think those guys down the hall come down here and try to mess with our stuff.
Yeah.
I'll show them.
Yeah.
Whew. That was something else.
I'm going to leave them a turd sandwich on one of their chairs.
We got some of our Zeta system back. Some stuff here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing checks.
We're streaking. We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium.
What it was,
There's more coming.
was Mims in here doing it?
Get in the car.
No.
Everybody's doing it.
This is
Mark
great.
says he's gonna make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
We haven't done that in a
You
while.
are just so excited right now.
This is. You just hit play on everything. Yeah.
Buttons.
We can keep going.
Well, hey, Bird, I gotta.
All right.
All right. I gotta give a shout out to the guys at Steve's Mirror and Glass, man.
Okay.
So I golfed with Tom and Jerry. I know that's how funny, Tom and Jerry from Steve's Mirror and Glass, and they're not a mouse and a cat, although one of them is very short,
Okay.
and that's Tom. He's the short one. But anyway, man, they had a lot of cool guys. I got to meet all the dudes in the back room. They had a Browns fan, a Cowboys fan back there. Josh was the only name I can remember. Josh is back there, and a kid he called Spider-Man because he didn't like sports.
Browns fan, a Cowboy fan, Josh, and a Spider-Man kid
Yep.
walking
Yep.
to the bar.
Yeah. And who gets drunk first? Tom. Anyway, shout out to Steve's Mirror and Glass. Had a good time golfing with those boys. We got last place. 4 under. I don't know how that's last place. But that wasn't bad, man, for a bunch of hacks. If you're out there in Quad City land and you need a new glass door for your shower, or you need a mirror above your bed, Jay or Serge, you know, they can do that.
What on earth would we need that for?
Anything that you could think
Okay.
of that you could use glass or mirrors for, Steve's Mirror and Glass is your place to go. What do you think about that?
It was good.
You ever had a mirror in a bedroom before above the bed? You ever seen that?
I've seen
I'm
it.
a traveler.
Yeah, exactly. Not at my house.
Singapore. It was cool.
Our first house, the
The
entire
whole room was mirrors.
Our first house, the entire closet, closet door was mirrors.
Oh yeah.
That was
You
goofy.
didn't like that?
Wow.
Did you ever play helicopter in the mirror?
No.
You don't?
No.
Jay.
You never played helicopter
Jay,
in the
don't do
mirror?
it. Don't do it, Jay.
No.
Serge, have you?
No.
So,
I have a
sports,
mirror in
huh?
my room
Yeah.
that Steve's Mirror and Glass installed. I play helicopter in front of
All
that mirror.
right.
I'm just saying.
We got a big weekend starting for the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Starting tonight at Wrigley Field. They're going to play 7 games over the next 11 days. That will help determine NL Central, the wild card, and maybe even a possibility of the future of the franchise. Writes MLB.com's Will Letch. Cardinals, they haven't made the playoffs since 2015. And he goes on to write that the Cubs have taken a step back every year since winning the World Series in 2016 and may be in danger of cleaning the house this offseason. Looking ahead to the 4 games that begin
All right,
tonight.
let's look at that really.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I
Okay.
mean, that's reckless speculation. What house are they cleaning? They need to clean up some of the pitching.
Joe Madden's gone. That's a start.
You think?
Yeah.
You guys really think so?
Yeah, I think
This
outside
is
of
his fault that the pitching's getting older and
it's,
in the
it's-
bullpen?
they haven't given him. It's his last year of his contract.
Okay, but we're not blaming this on Madden.
No,
is
I'm
what
not blaming
saying.
this on
Oh,
Madden.
okay,
I'm blaming it. Injuries. I'm blaming it. No, I blame the front office on the Brandon Morrow signing, who hasn't pitched,
Yep.
after the Dodgers overextended him in the postseason. I think that goes back to
Well, they've
geez.
busted on 2 relievers, him
Yeah.
and the weird delivery guy from Boston.
Kimbrel,
Yeah.
but not. I mean, Brandon Morrow. That he broke like I see it. He broke
Crane.
like a record of
What is that?
how many
Crane.
innings pitched and everything.
You stupid.
We were sitting in a
closer.
bar doing a podcast talking about Dave Roberts and
It's not
how
mine.
he was killing the guy's arm, and the
Yes.
Cubs went out and signed him,
Yeah.
and he hasn't done anything for 2 years. He'll never pitch for the Cubs again. I know that's not Madden's fault, but that's going to be the start. Like,
Well, I listen. If they off season get some stuff done, who cares about salary cap? Pay them,
I wouldn't even say off season. Just start find some ways, win a couple games,
trade some people.
win this year. It's not out of the.
it's
We're
not
not
out of-
riding them off yet.
Well, they can sweep the Cardinals this week and take over first place.
Yeah.
They're only 2 back, right?
Well, they both.
I think they're 2 back because I want to say
Yeah,
they're-
because they both lost last night,
yeah. I think they're 2 back.
and the Brewers lost too.
I mean, that's not an insurmountable lead.
St. Louis didn't.
And this is
Oh, yeah,
this
they
is the
lost.
beginning
no, they
of
won
it.
5-1. Sorry, the Cardinals won 5-1.
So they're 3 back.
So
Still not insurmountable. Sorry. 8 head-to-head games left, I believe, or 9, 8 or 9.
what?
8 or 9 games left, head-to-head.
7 in the next
7.
11 days.
Okay, the next 11 days.
Yeah, and then so just tonight, Kyle Hendricks on the mound against Jack Flaherty. Game 2, Jose Quintana. That'll be tomorrow. We'll be interrupted by them at 12:45 versus Michael Waka. Waka.
I went to school with the Todd Flaherty one.
Good guy, good dude.
Yeah.
Cole Hamels, Game 3 against Dakota Hudson, and Yu Darvish against Miles Mikolas. In the studio, we've got Adam from Front Street Brewery. Adam, thank you so much for changing your schedule around, getting up here. Because the reason being is that
Well, thanks for bringing me beer.
we'd love to have you at Isle Capri, but they just don't want us to drink down there at Isle Capri while we're on the show.
Is that why they bring us beers?
But yeah, they weren't supposed to do that. That's what I was told. They were like, "Hey, when you can't have beers," I was like, that's not my fault. I didn't do that." So,
Who? Did we get in trouble for that?
man, we're told not to drink on the air. That's all.
It's in our contract that we can. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Adam, what do you have for us today?
Today I just brought the good old Davenport Gold.
Do they know
Good,
we're coming?
good
at
football
least,
season pounder here. You know, this is the closest thing that we do to a domestic, just pretty straightforward, like Golden Ale.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and the Cubs are 3 back, so are the Brewers. So it's gonna get tight. Gonna get fun. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you clear house or whatever else. I try not to read anybody's comments on social media about
Well, everybody knows.
Schwarber or I don't know.
Schwarber has 37 or 38 bombs this year, man. I mean, it's not. He didn't have a bad year defensively. He got better. His average is still like 240s, I believe.
Speaking of bombs,
But I mean, he's definitely an asset. And you could trade him away and not kill yourself.
Pete Alonso went yard again last night. He now hits has hit 49, tied a rookie record.
You know who he tied?
Yes, I do. 1987.
And that was
Mark McGuire.
yeah. I'll steroid it up.
And then Eugenio Suarez for the Reds, he hit like his 48th, and that's the most ever by a Venezuelan-born batter.
Really?
Yeah, so he's got the record there. Good job for Eugene. Hey, Eugene.
Hey, Jay. Thanks.
Brouhaha this weekend, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exciting.
Saturday. Yeah,
That's down
Well,
at
that's right in your front yard.
Absolutely. Right there at Leclerc Park. Glad to see that they're able to get back down there this year. How much stuff was relocated over the summer
Aren't they worried about
months.
killing the grass?
It seems to be thriving now.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's very
It
odd.
is lush and green.
Looks the same as it did 3 weeks ago when they didn't have the Queen concert there, which probably screwed all you guys.
Well,
They're gonna do a throwback to the flood with the rain on Saturday too, and everybody down there. So it's gonna be a good time.
don't say that. It's not going to rain.
Okay, 40% chance.
40 is the new 0.
What?
I always say at 30% when they're at the meteorologist. I don't even believe it in the Quad Cities. So,
I don't either. I have a golf album to write out.
oh yeah, that's why you're paying attention. That makes sense.
Terry fails.
That guy, that poor guy.
This
He
weekend's
doesn't even have a
forecast
job anymore.
might
That's right.
rain. It might not.
There you go.
We know who our weather guy is.
So do you know?
We like the guy from WHBF.
Pay me.
Jay goes on the show with him.
So what all you take down there for the brouhaha? How much? Like,
I mean, I don't know. We haven't really set a final lineup. I know we've got a firkin that Mitch did. That's sitting in the cooler for that. It's kind of the same thing that we did a couple weeks ago.
Mitch
That
all right?
pineapple mango lolota.
Can we do a welfare check on Mitch? Are you sure he's okay?
Man, he's just getting put to work right now.
All right.
He's got a
Why would
big
you- why would you say that?
today.
I don't know. I think he's worried about his colds.
they're 1-1.
Division leading.
Yeah, look at that. I would worry about Adam Vinatieri if he's gonna. That guy is he's on a seesaw with retirement.
Yeah, well, he's older than me. He should be.
I know, but I mean, you can't really like.
Isn't he like 50?
Didn't I feel
Real
like
close.
I feel like he tweeted in the middle
Serge,
of the
how
game
old's
that it
Adam
might be
Vinatieri?
done.
Can you Google that?
I knew on Sunday that I was like, oh, I think Vinatieri's gonna retire. Colts talked him out of it on Monday. That's old. You missed some. They should be 2-0 because of him, though. The Colts. There's nothing to worry about. Colts are fine. They're in that division.
Okay, all right.
You like him. You don't listen to him. He's sweet on him. I listened on Monday.
I got him 14 in my power rankings.
Yeah, he's sweet on him.
See? Just so you know.
He saw basically the Colts to him. All right. He saw them at first at about 7 o'clock at night at the tavern, and he said, "No way." Then a couple hours passed, and he said, "I don't think so." That's week 1. Then week 2, some more hours passed. Some more beers happened. He said, "Whoa, look at her."
Yummy.
I might talk to her later. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a couple more beers. Maybe what week 3 and a couple more hours gets me.
You always try to get the weak one from the herd.
So don't let him fool you.
That's how
He's sweet on the
true-
Colts.
True predator works. Just saying.
Beer goggles and all.
You're not going after. You're not going after the strongest one.
Do you know how many
That
different?
one, fuck yeah, you're out of here.
Do you know how many vendors are down there at the brouhaha?
I've not seen a list.
Okay.
Usually, I think it's at least 30 plus breweries down there. Pretty good turnout, probably closer to 50 actually.
What'd you come up with, Serge? How old's that dude?
46 years young.
Oh,
I thought it was like 48.
so he's younger than me.
Turns 47 at the end of this year. Some of the oldest players in the NFL. Active players. Let's see. No, he might be one of the oldest.
What winning?
Oh, gotta be.
Kick the
What,
kick.
Brady's what, 42 or 3?
What was it? Super Bowl 36. Did he kick the winning field goal for the Patriots over the Rams in 2002? Yeah,
Yep.
or 2001? 2002. Jeez. Yeah, it's a long time ago. And he's still going, and Brady's still playing
Yeah, Vinatieri
All-time
is,
points
Vinatieri
leader.
is the oldest.
by far.
No.
No, that's not true. Brady's what, 43?
Phil Dawson.
Phil
40
Dawson,
Yep.
kicker for the Browns?
Cardinals. Or did he go to the Browns this year?
No, I think he's kicked for the Browns.
He did.
Okay.
He's currently with the Cardinals. These are current players.
I used to have a Mr. Dawson live across the street when I was a kid.
Used to be a Richard Dawson
And
on
then
television.
Richard Dawson used
Matty
to kiss
Ice is
people on
43.
Family Feud.
Matty Ice is 43.
No, sorry, no, not Matty Ice. Matty Bryant.
Oh, okay.
I saw Falcons.
Those kickers have longevity. Are we not breeding kickers?
Brady's
We're
41.
not. We're not breeding kickers, by the way. I've seen the kicking game at high school games. It's not good.
See? Beef, listen.
Janikowski's 40.
He's gone.
Listen, if you're worried, why don't you? If you're worried about CTE and your kid playing football, why wouldn't you just strictly make him a kicker? Like, I'm
point.
serious. I mean, I know I joke around about it, but that's all Ben's really gonna do. I've seen him in flag football. I've seen enough. He's not gonna go too far with his skills on the football. So he's
Poor
got a kid.
kid.
Which I asked a question yesterday with my friend Bud, because my son's in 2nd grade, and I played flag football in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, whatever else.
Were you a halfback?
I do remember this
It's a nickelback.
very well. I do remember one time I talked my coach into let me play quarterback,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, when 4 kids were running at me, I threw that thing up in the air as high as I did, further than it did went yardage wise.
Yeah.
And it landed like right into a defensive lineman's hand, and I knew right then I'm fine in my backyard, but not this. No, I'm not making the right reads. It was a short live at quarterback.
God, they didn't even let us pass the damn ball when I was a
But I did ask him. I said, was I not as good as I thought I was in second grade? Because, I mean, I'm sure they're all out there. They think they're all pretty good. He's like, oh, how are you, in the backyard? I was like, that's pretty good. He's like, then you're fine. I was like, I don't think so. Maybe I thought I went home every day. I was like, yeah, man, I killed it.
Good arm. They never let us pass.
You were from that Waterloo Wishbone system.
Yeah, was that a true thing?
No.
All right, because that's what it was. Everything was a wishbone. It sucked. I'm like,
Oh,
what
was
is
it really
that?
running a wishbone?
Everything.
Oh.
I'm like, can't we pass the ball? What is this, man? I can't be Roger Staubach if you guys don't let me pass the ball. You're messing up my dreams. Coaches.
It's just one of those things that can deflate
I wasn't
your
very
childhood.
coachable.
No.
Imagine that.
No, come on.
Eating tacos on the sideline.
I had a problem with authority.
You put the taco down.
Touch my taco, I'll slap your face, coach.
What do you mean I can't play and eat at the same time?
I did get the quarterback in 7th grade.
Rather have a beer.
Quarterback sneak for a touchdown. It was pretty fun.
7th grade.
I was bigger than all the
How
running
big were
backs.
How big were you in 7th grade?
6 foot,
This is gonna make me so
about,
sad.
about 2 inches less than I am now.
How
By
much?
the time I was in 9th grade, I was already 6'2".
6'2". 6'2".
6'2" freshman? That's
I'm
not
6'2".
unheard of.
I'm 6'2" right now.
I cracked 5 foot.
But I weighed 100 and, let's see, in my 7th and 8th grade years, I probably weighed 140, 50 pounds. I mean, my freshman year is maybe 162. I was
a beanpole.
Oh yeah. I'll show you pictures, dude. It was all hands and feet, dude.
I've seen plenty of pictures of you, buddy.
All right. I mean,
I cracked
with my
5
clothes on.
foot in April of 1990. I was 14 years old.
5 foot.
Yeah.
Gotta crack that when I popped
I
out the
probably
womb.
was standing on my tiptoes too.
I was 8 and I was taller than that.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I know. I
know.
know.
Troy had a foot on you?
Yes.
I know for a fact. By the time I was in 4th grade, I was already taller than my mom, who's 5'5". So I was like, I think I hit 5'6" in 5th grade.
How many things did she hit you with? Because she could no longer hit broomsticks or whatever else when you got online.
Oh, I got.
You get weapons at that point when they're bigger than you. Don't they just grab weapons to?
Well, they always had weapons on
Oh,
me. It
they
was always
just-
the belt.
They
man.
knew it was coming.
Yeah,
They're
the
just
belt.
like, "Give me the
I mean, I
belt."
got hit, and there's a few times she slipped, and like the buckle of that belt got me.
Ah,
The buckle of that belt is a bastard.
that'll keep you in line.
That, and remember the fly swatters were always
Yeah.
the weapon of choice. And what was the thing? Remember those little paddles that had the ball attached to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ended up turning into a swatter.
Because you would break them. Because
Yeah,
you're
and then
doing.
they
And
use
they're
them
like,
on
oh,
my butt,
good.
yeah.
Since it's broken, now I have a weapon.
Yep.
To punish you. That sounds like fun. So can you buy tickets ahead of time at the Brouhaha, Adam?
I believe so.
Yeah, you got to go through. I think.
JC's has a website for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, and is it still done through the public television? Iowa Public Television site, I believe.
No, a few years back, Davenport JC's took over. I
Okay.
think they might still donate a portion to public television, but I'm not 100% on that.
So this is a fun event. People always like this.
Tell us what Brouhaha is for those of
It does.
listening
Okay.
who don't know what it is.
Well, basically it's a crap show.
There you go. It really. I mean, you summed it up perfectly. I was gonna get to that.
No, out of all the beer fests that we do, Brouhaha always tends to be quite the party. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be looking forward to it. Basically free beer sampling 1 to 5. Well, not free beer sampling, admission
You
charge.
pay your
but-
ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll have a bunch of local, regional, and national craft breweries down there.
Do you have any
bringing their
idea
best.
on how many different beers are going to be down there? Could you ballpark it?
A couple hundred for sure.
I would say.
I
at least.
mean,
Yeah.
I'd
I've
say
been to Brouhaha a few
every
years,
brewery usually brings at least 3 different flavors. We're looking at about 50 different breweries or so.
Yep.
There should be quite a few good beers to sample.
What else goes on down there besides the beer tasting?
So they'll have like yard games, live entertainment.
We
There's
still
usually
have
some food trucks down there.
the guys from stand up comedy or whatever. What is it? Dang it!
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Laughing Sports, whatever the heck it is. You know what I'm talking about. The one
Comedy
over Rock
Sports.
Island. Comedy Sports.
Okay,
Dang
yeah.
it.
A buddy of mine's doing a stand-up set down there. His name's Nick Melky. Melky's an awesome dude, so go down there and check him out if you're down there. So, yeah, there's always a lot of side stuff. I remember we did a cooking with beer segment when I was at Old Chicago a long time ago.
Oh, sure.
It was a lot of fun. But that's the cool thing is like it's not just walking around and tasting beers. Obviously, that's a big part of it. But there's food, there's games, there's other music and comedy and stuff down there too for
Yeah, out of all the different beer fest out there, I mean, you don't get much of a better setting than LeClaire Park down there on the river.
Yeah.
Under the trees. It's a good Saturday for drinking beer.
Absolutely. But yeah, it gets a little bit crazy at the end because then it turns into the sampling of a ounce to 2 ounces turns into hit me just a little bit more. You can pour more in there, right?
Yeah, it's always
that
nice at
turns-
the end of the day when people are like, "Oh, what do you got left?" It's like, "I got this 8 IPA. Oh, I hate IPAs. Fill it up." You know,
Or the hey, we're with this group over there. They said to talk to Adam. He said you just give him a whole beer.
Well, year 2.
we got to keep it legal.
I went
Keep it legal.
year 2 and year 3, and I remember at the end of both of them, like you know, that was before all the laws started getting strict. People were like, "Here, man, you want to take the beer home?" Yeah, I mean, I walked out there with a couple cases.
Yeah, watching, you know, the drunken zombies leave there at the end of the day, it's pretty entertaining.
It's like the end of the Thriller video.
Yeah.
But I got interviewed by the TV station one year. Well, hammered.
Well, couldn't pick a better weekend to do it. You know, I was on the bye week, so people have the Saturday afternoon off, except for if you're golfing in 11-17's inaugural golf outing.
Which we do have a couple spots available left. So if anybody wants to golf on Saturday,
I'll be in Chicago.
get a hold of me.
We have to take our first break,
All right.
and
Well, now that we have Adam here, we
Any
better talk
sponsors?
about Front Street Brewery, buddy.
Oh, you know.
You are the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, nestled beautifully along the bank of that mighty Mississippi River. Has served the fine community of Davenport since 1992, and they have so many great beers like this Davenport Gold we're currently drinking, the Wise Guy, the Raging River, and the oh-so-popular Cherry Bomb Blonde. Check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials, also the webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. The tap room is now open in the Freight House Complex, so get on down there this Saturday for brouhaha and our friends at Front Street Brewery.
This is WQAD's Matt Randazzo, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
The Circle Tap in Davenport is your place to catch all the action this football season. Kick back on Sundays with $2 cans and enjoy the NFL Sunday Ticket. Plus, make the Circle Tap your home on Saturdays with their college football specials. Get $2 cans and $6 domestic pitchers during all Iowa games. Plus, during every game, enter to win a weekly black and gold cooler gift basket valued at over $100. Enjoy great food, great drinks, and great friends all football season long at the Circle Tap, West Locust Street, Davenport.
ESPN 1170 AM is the Quad Cities sports leader and your home of the local sports show. Don't hassle us, we're local. Listen for a chance to win everything from tickets to free food. Every time you win and pick up your prize at the ESPN 1170 AM Pepsi ticket window, we'll give you a free Pepsi for the road as well. It's like winning twice. Get more chances to win by downloading the ESPN 1170 AM app or by going to ESPN1170am.com.
At a time of personal loss, we each express our feeling in our own way. Wheelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory recognize that no one service is right for everyone. That's why we offer various options for the most appropriate service, the most fitting farewell, and personalized attention to detail. Wheelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
From local to global, ESPN 1170 has you covered. Your Quad City Sports Show is here for you. Don't hassle us, we're local with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay-Bird, Surge, and you. Weekdays noon to 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader. ESPN 1170 AM wants you to be an insider. Get access to great contests at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM. On your way to modern Woodman Park, take us with you. Download the ESPN 1170 app today and never miss a thing.
And we are back here in the Hassle Castle.
I didn't think you had your earbuds.
Yeah,
in.
I'm ready.
All right.
Brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish, and this is Don't Hassle So Local on ESPN AM 1170.
All right, some score updates from yesterday brought to you by Harrington's Pub. Cubs lost to the Reds in extra innings 3-2. The White Sox beat the Minnesota Twins 3-1. Kansas City Royals lost in extra innings to the Oakland Athletics 1-0. Padres beat the Brewers 2-1. Cardinals lost to the Nationals 5-1. I'm sorry, they beat the Nationals 5-1. Wainwright gets the win. Max Scherzer is the losing pitcher. Other notable games out there: Houston Astros beat the Texas Rangers 3-2. Why that's important: Garrett Cole hit a big season milestone, recording his 300th strikeout of the year last night. He's the sixth pitcher since 2000 to have a 300 strikeout season, and he's the first Houston Astro pitcher to do it since Mike Scott in 1986. Crazy enough, though, Justin Verlander is currently at 283 strikeouts on the season. If Verlander reaches the 30 strikeout mark, the 2019 Astros would join the 2002 Diamondbacks as the only team in MLB history with two 300 strikeout pitchers. Got a little trivia for you, T-Roy.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, last night, Houston's Garrett Cole became... And Surge, sorry, I don't want you to feel left out.
Last night, just for Troy.
Yeah, last night, Houston, like I said, Houston's Garrett Cole became the 18th Major League pitcher since 1900 to strike out 300 batters in a season. Question. Cole reached 300 strikeouts in just 198.1 innings, the second fewest needed to reach the milestone. Who is the only pitcher to do it in fewer innings?
Sandy Koufax.
No. He did it in 2001, the same year his team won the World Series. That's a big, big hint there.
Randy Johnson?
You are the big winner, Serge. It is Randy Johnson.
I know it wasn't for me, but...
No, it's for you. It's all right.
The Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say Schilling.
Yeah, well, they
were on the same team.
That was the 2002 team, the back-to-back that they were referring to. When I gave that, if Verlander becomes the first teammates to do that since 2002.
Should have asked me first.
Should have. Well, I asked you both. Just a fun little thing. Got a couple games tonight. NCAA football. And we've got Thursday night football. Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville Jaguars.
What a great game.
After crushing the Browns 43-13 in week 1, the Titans were humbled by the Colts 19-17 last week, losing outright as the 3-point home favorites. The Jaguars are winless to start the year, but played well last week, losing 13-12 on the road at Houston and covered the 7-point spread as they were 7-point dogs. This line opened up with the Titans listed at 2-point road favorites. Right after that, the line stinks. On paper, Tennessee is a much better team, and the oddsmaker set this line known to be moved towards Titan betting. All right, so roughly 7 out of 10 wagers are laying the points with Tennessee. So now we've seen the line fall to 1.5. What I'm trying to say here is we need to bet with the sharps. We want to go with the pros. We want to tell our listeners what the sharps are doing, right? Right.
Sure, Jay.
Okay. So the pros are going with Jacksonville. So this line opened up as through 2. It's moved down to 1.5. The Jags have history in their favor since 2003. Divisional dogs in September have gone 56.2% against the spread. This season alone, they're 7-5 against the spread. And also teams that start the year 0-2 have covered 55.6 of the time in week 3. Another one to look at is the under. It opened up at 40. Wise guys, the sharps, the pros immediately hit the under, causing it to fall to 39.5 or 39. Is actually at 38.5 on our friends at Elite Sportsbook and at William Hill as well. So it's moved to 38.5 since then. It's a weather factor. The forecast calls for 14-mile-an-hour crosswinds at TIAA Bank Field. And since 2003, when wind is blowing at 10 miles an hour or more in a divisional game, the under has cashed in at a 59.9% clip.
Wealth of knowledge.
I will tell you this. I read some unders yesterday and one over. I read 2 unders and 1 over yesterday. Went 3-0 yesterday in what I told you to do. Even though my friend Matt Erickson said he would never bet an under on the Yankees game, the Yankees lost as favorites to the Angels. They lost 3-2. The over-under was at 10. The under hit. The Dodgers-Rays game yesterday, the wind was blowing out. The over-under was at 8.5. It went over. And I think we hit the under in the Astros game as well. All right, Houston at Tulane tonight. This is a crazy one. Tulane opened up as 3-point favorites. People got all excited, including the public, because they saw Houston go toe-to-toe with Washington State last week. So that's gone up. It's gone from Houston. You would think everyone taking the points, getting the +3, taking the dog, the road dog, it would stay there, but it's not, actually. It's actually gone up to +5. The Sharps are in on Tulane. And so if you're wondering why that line moved, when, 70% of the tickets on the public side is backing Houston. It has moved further. It's +5. So I am suggesting stay away from that. It's the under that you might want to look at. It opened around 59.5, but has fallen to 57.5. It is because, again, weather. The under is at the weather is at 12-mile-an-hour winds expected at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans. And according to BetLab Sports, when the wind is blowing at 8 miles an hour or higher, and the total either stays the same or falls on the under, stays the same, the under has won 55.9% of the time since 2005. So a couple under bets tonight. Sharps are in on the Jags. Sharps like Tulane. I feel like that one's a stay away in NCAA as well. So, what does all that mean to you, Roy? Did anything hit there? Anything hit home there?
Yeah, he said stay away.
Okay.
Maybe take the under.
Maybe take the under. Yeah, take the under in both games tonight. And even it is low. Well, I think you got to draw a line though. If it opened up at 40 and now it's at 38, you have to got to hope that maybe some public money draws it, because the public is going to bet the over on the NFL game.
Yeah.
Public's not going to come in too much on a Tulane Houston game, but the NFL they're going to get into tonight. So, in studio, coming in, we got our guy
Matt Goss from our Quad City Times joining us, and we're going to talk some high school sports and see what's going on. Matt, welcome back to the show, sir.
Matt's fresh from Muscatine. He's taking care of business.
Jeez. This home remodeling project is turned into just a complete nightmare. We're on 7 weeks right now and probably still got another 3 or 4 to go here. It's turned into not only an expensive project, but just a major headache.
So he comes in happy.
Yeah. You know.
So yeah, let's talk high school sports. That's
he looks like Tom Hanks from the Money Pit.
Money Pit, yeah. That's a great reference. This week, we got 2 big matchups. I'm assuming. I talked to Bobby yesterday. Are you sending anybody up to North Scott, Western Dubuque, or are you going to just lean on your friends from the Telegraph Herald?
No, Doxy's going up.
He is?
Yep. So, actually, we've got, I would almost classify it 3 biggies this week. Obviously, Bettendorf, Cedar Falls, North Scott, Western Dubuque. I think Assumption, Solon, I would almost put in that category, too. Assumption's just outside the top 10 this week. Solon's ranked, depending on what poll you look at, 3rd or 4th. Steve Batterson will be heading over to Solon, so we'll have all 3 of those biggies covered Friday night.
Well, then there's actually kind of 4, though. You got West at North. I mean, it's a
yeah.
It's a big game for North.
It is.
West is still undefeated, correct?
No, West is 2-1. They got beat. They got beat last week to Muscatine, 13-7.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will find out a little bit more about West this week.
And what's North? 2-1 as well.
North is 2-1 as well. But when you look at what West has done here the first 3 weeks, United Township, not real strong. Clinton, this is a down year for them. Muscatine, which is we've talked about, kind of underachieved this year to this point. But the one thing about West, I think that you can be very encouraged about, defensively, they're a lot better than they've been the last few years. There's just a different level of speed that they're playing with, a little more athleticism on that side of the ball. So they've done a really good job defensively here in the first 3 weeks. My concern with them is when they play some of these better teams, can they score enough? And that's the thing right now. You look the first 3 weeks here, they scored 19 versus UT, 19 versus Clinton, and only 7 a week ago. That's not going to cut it when they get into North Friday night, Kennedy, obviously Bettendorf, Central, those games down their line. But it should be an intriguing game. I tell you, I really like this North team. They've done a really good job with that program. You look at them 2 years ago, 3 wins. Last year, 5. They're off to 2-1 this year. Got their most lopsided win in program history last week, beating Central 37-0. Those guys are just playing with a different swag, a different confidence level than we've seen out of a North team in any time I can remember. So they got more playmakers than they've had at any point in their program. In the past, it was kind of, well, if you can limit 1 or 2 guys, you'll find a way to stop North. Now they've got 5 or 6 guys that you feel that they have a lot of trust in, that can carry the ball. In the pass catching game, they've got 3 or 4 guys that are targets for them. Defensively, they're strong, and they've got a lot of youth there as well. 2 of their best defensive players are sophomores, Dominic Wiseman and Cade Sheedy. So this isn't a thing where I think, 1 year and then they're going to go back to being, your 1-8, 2-7 North. I think this is a team that can sustain it for the next at least 2 to 3 years.
Tonight we have Pleasant Valley at Davenport Central.
Yeah, 2 teams that kind of need some mojo here going into district play. Pleasant Valley, really tough schedule, obviously, out of the gate here with Bettendorf, Prairie, and North Scott the first 3 weeks, but only 1 touchdown in the first 3 games for Pleasant Valley's offense. And they're a little beat up, too. Caden Kipper, their number 1 tailback, has a collarbone injury. He didn't play last week against North Scott. It sounds like he's going to be out at least until about week 6 or week 7. So they're a little short-handed there in the backfield. The quarterback play hasn't been bad at times. They're just not finishing drives. There's just not a lot of explosiveness in that offense right now. There's not a guy or 2 you can say, okay, go make a big play for us. They just don't have that right now. So they're having to do a lot of things, 70, 80-yard type drives over 10, 12 plays. And right now they're just not good enough where they can sustain long drives, whether it's penalties. And they've run into some really good defenses as well. But, yeah, I think for them, if they can get a little bit of confidence tonight with a win, that would be big for them going into next week's district opener against Iowa City West. Davenport Central, quickly on the other hand, won the opener against Muscatine, but the last 2 weeks they've really been on the wrong end of some lopsided games. North Scott, and then as we mentioned with North last week, offensively they're kind of a work in progress as well. The big thing for them, they've committed 9 turnovers in 3 games. All 9 of those turnovers, the opponents have scored 9 touchdowns. So when that happens, it's tough to overcome. So for them, I think they're in a district where you look at it, obviously Bettendorf's a favorite. Kennedy would probably be number 2. But after that, it's kind of up for grabs. So there's still some things there for Central to play for as we get into district play. So we'll see if they can get a little more consistency, particularly offensively.
You mentioned Muscatine. They're going to travel to Johnston tomorrow night.
Yeah, when you looked at Muscatine's schedule this year, there were 2 trips that really stood out. They're arguably going to play in the 2 nicest high school venues in the state of Iowa this year. A $9 million facility at Johnston, which they're going to tomorrow night, and then Linn-Mar in week 7, which has one of the best 4A facilities around as well. So, but for Muscatine, penalties, turnovers, just haven't really clicked offensively yet, which is kind of surprising considering all the playmakers they had back from a year ago. But Tim Nimley, their number 1 back, he didn't play last week because of an lower leg injury. I don't know if they'll get him back this week or if they'll kind of wait to – it's not a season-ending type thing. He'll be back at some point. I don't know if they'll wait, though, another week until the district opener. But Offensively, they've got to get on track. They played pretty well defensively last week against Davenport West. Johnston, 1-2, but they've played all the big boys so far. They played Dowling. I believe they've played either Centennial or Ankeny, Waukee, and they've been competitive with all those teams, even though they're sitting at 1-2. So tough game for Muscatine on the road.
Yeah, no matter how you split up that CIML in districts, there's tough competitors up there. And that's even in districts and non-district because they all still play each other. I know there's a big game between Dowling, Ankeny, and Centennial this week as well. Okay, let's take a look at Cedar Falls coming to Bettendorf.
This has really turned into a nice they've had some nice games in the playoffs over the years, but I'm hoping after this year when they redo the districts, these two teams won't be in the same district, that this series can continue, because I think it's a good game for both teams, a good measuring stick for both games, and obviously with Coach Wiley's background with the Cedar Falls program. But
well, I mean, with
Coach Remmert as well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, they were college roommates.
College roommates, yep. So really good game last year at the Dome that Cedar Falls pulled out. I think it was 29-23, something like that. It was within a possession. Bettendorf had a chance to win the game and had a mistake late that led to the Cedar Falls winning score. But typical Cedar Falls team, you look at them number-wise, they don't have a guy or two that would really stand out to you. They do have one good receiver who's caught about 50% of the passes that they've completed to this point. But just don't make a lot of mistakes. They've been perfect in the kicking game so far. I was looking today, they're 15 of 15 in PATs, 2 of 2 in field goals. They got a punter who's averaging like 40 yards a punt. They really do a good job in the special teams, so that's an area where you're not going to get a leg up on them usually. So we'll see. Bettendorf, I think you've seen them take a step forward each week. Last week, I thought the first half, just based on what I read, maybe a little sluggish in the first half, but the 3 picks, that's something they've definitely got to clean up. We'll see what they continue to do. I know they really like Joe Byrne back there. He's a bulldog, but obviously with the number of mistakes that were made in the passing game, I don't know how long they'll continue to live with that. But
Zach Trevino scrambled for a couple scores in the game last week. Bettendorf, you look at you mentioned the numbers. Bettendorf is very, very similar to Cedar Falls, but one thing to stand out in is the running game.
Right, and Bay Bowie, obviously, what he's done, he's gotten better every week yardage-wise. He's been over 200 the last couple of weeks. I think he's second right now in Class 4A in rushing through 3 weeks. The offensive line, I think the thing with Bettendorf, usually with their offensive line, those guys kind of get a lot better as the year goes along. I think this year they're maybe farther ahead than they've been in the past this early in the season, just in terms of the cohesion with that group up front. So that's definitely a good sign for them. But it's the same thing we've kind of harped on with them. Can they develop any type of consistency in the pass game? And these are the type of games where you have to show that. Cedar Falls, Kennedy, Week 7, and then obviously when you get into the postseason, you can have a great offensive line, you can have a great run game, and those are great things to lean on, but you've got to be able to throw the ball a little bit at least to make defenses honest. So we'll see if they can do that this week against Cedar Falls. I envision the one difference through 3 weeks, Bettendorf, the Pleasant Valley game was within a couple scores, but Cedar Falls really got tested last week. They played Ankeny, 28-27 game that came down to the wire. Bettendorf, on the other hand, had pretty fairly comfortable margin of victories here the first 3 weeks. So we'll see how Bettendorf reacts if they get themselves in a one-score game late in that fourth quarter.
Okay, we talked about this. Doxy's going to cover this up in Epworth. North Scott at Western Dubuque.
Yeah, kind of a bummer note for North Scott. Jackson Stoffen, the Kansas recruit, offensive lineman, he is done for the year. That's a big loss for them, but just for a guy who really was just kind of starting to mature and come into his own as an offensive lineman. He got the Kansas offer in the spring, and I think Kansas will still continue to he hasn't signed yet. He's scheduled to sign in December, but I don't see any reason why he won't continue to go there. But yeah, just sad for a kid to see a senior season end like that. Just kind of a fluke thing in practice where his knee got rolled into. So, but he will need surgery in the next couple of weeks, and he'll be done for the year. But you look at this matchup, these two teams as well have had a nice little rivalry kind of develop here the last few years. They played twice last year North Scott won the regular season meeting. Western Dubuque returned the favor and beat them in the quarterfinals in the postseason to prevent North Scott from getting to the Dome. So I know, talking to a few of the North Scott guys after last week's game against PV, this is one of the games they've kind of had circled on the calendar. So interesting matchup. Western Dubuque's been flawless pretty much through the first 3 weeks. Really good quarterback, Calvin Harris. He's the Ole Miss baseball recruit, dual threat type guy, just real athletic, tough to bring down. They've got a good running game. Their program's at the point now where they're starting to establish kind of a reload mentality every year, and right now they got a really good set of core athletes, particularly at the skilled position. North Scott, on the other hand, I tell you, nobody's been more impressive on the defensive side of the ball the first 3 weeks than North Scott. These guys just fly around. They got 2 good ends, Ben Belkin, the UNI recruit, Joey Peterson, the brother of Zach Peterson, who's playing at Iowa State. Those 2 guys just wreak havoc for teams just with their athleticism and strength. And then they've got Zach Campbell, the linebacker, and a couple guys on the back end who have really maybe exceeded my expectations a little bit coming into this year. So that's a team right now. They only gave up 3 first downs and 70 yards to PV last week. So they're playing at a really high level right now defensively. The key for them is, can they get a little more consistency offensively? The run game's kind of been hit and miss. The pass game got going a little bit in the second half last week, but that's still got to get a little bit better here moving forward. But really a good barometer for both teams and where they stand. And it's a non-district game, but it's an important game because down the line, if they're both in the postseason, this head-to-head meeting could determine pairings and so forth, who avoids who, with Xavier on this side of the state, Solon as well in 3A. So it is an important non-district game.
Yeah, and you also mentioned it when you first came on, Assumption at Solon.
Yeah, Assumption, last week against Xavier, 17-0. Offensively, right now, Assumption's pretty one-dimensional. When teams load the box against them like Xavier did last week, that really limited what Assumption could do. I think there's capabilities there in the passing game, and we'll see if that can develop over the next few weeks. But I thought defensively, they really went toe-to-toe with Xavier last week, held their own, got 3 turnovers in that game, a couple picks. They were just a lot more physical and flew around a lot better than maybe we've seen out of Assumption's defense the last couple of years. So I think they left that game disappointed, but mildly encouraged kind of where they're at here through 3 weeks. But really another tough test here with Solon. They can spread you out. They got a good quarterback in Cam Miller, and they got a couple really good receivers that Assumption will need to pay attention to this week. But another good test for Assumption to see where they kind of stand going into district play. But this is definitely a better Assumption team than we've seen the last couple of years.
And then just jumping over Western Big 6 real quick. We do have a big game in Western Big 6, and we'll get to that. But first, UT at Almond. Rock Island.
Yep,
Sorry, Rock Island.
Yep, UT Rocky this week. Rock Island went toe-to-toe with Moline last week, played really well. Had a really good chance to win that game. They lost 35-28, and they had the ball twice inside Rock Island's 15, or inside Moline's 15, and did not score.
Sounds like Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals.
So, I think Rock Island, with Davian Wilson back, he's their kind of go-to guy in the backfield. Their quarterback, they're still playing 2 guys, but both those guys have been productive. Rock Island's improved from a year ago as well, so look for them. It's their homecoming game. I think they should take care of business this week against a UT squad that's scored a little bit more than we've seen in the past. They got 40 a couple weeks ago against East Peoria. They scored 21 last week against Quincy. So definitely some progress being made on that side of the ball in particular, but I think Rocky's got a little too much this week.
Just because of our reach, I think we're just going to skip past Galesburg, Quincy.
Yeah.
But Moline at Rock Island Almond.
Home opener for Alleman. We're in week 4, and it's their home opener. So they've gone to Assumption, they've gone to Quincy, Notre Dame, they've gone to Sterling. So they've kind of been all over here, but finally be at home. But the difference in this game really rests up front. Moline leads the Big 6 in rushing, over 300 yards a game on the ground. Alleman's last in the Big 6 right now in rushing at about 72 yards a game. So that kind of tells you all you need to know. Moline, really potent backfield with Abaku Berry, Caden Dry first, and then they got a really good offensive line. And they're not throwing the ball a whole lot, but they haven't needed to this point. So I like Moline in this game.
All right, and then 3-0 Sterling is going to 3-0 Geneseo. Two new teams.
Old rivals. That,
Old rivals.
Yeah, they played each other in the Northern Illinois for years, but this will be the first time they play as Big Six members. So Geneseo, they've kind of leaned on that defense here the first 2 to 3 weeks. Last week they beat Galesburg 21-14. Sterling's quarterback's just been fantastic the first 3 weeks. I think he leads the Big Six in total yards here, like 700-800 yards through 3 weeks. So dual threat guy. Sterling's ranked second, I believe, this week in Class 5A in Illinois. They've just really gotten to a point the last 3 or 4 years where they've turned out good team after good team. So I think a lot of people point to Sterling and Moline as the top two. I think Geneseo and Rocky are probably the next in line. Tough game for Geneseo this week. I like Sterling probably by a couple scores at least this week.
All right, it's getting down the nitty-gritty in the Major League Baseball. We were talking earlier about the Cubs, and I was mentioning that a possibility that, this trending in different directions, these two teams, and that if the Cubs don't do well, will there be any cleaning of the house?
Yes.
Okay.
No Madden. KB will be traded.
What?
What?
Yep. I think
he didn't even.
I'm gonna.
He didn't even flinch.
Matt, why do you say this?
Hold on.
Okay, here's the thing.
T-Roy's not groggy anymore.
Here's the thing. He's got, I believe, 2 years left on his contract after this year. He's had a good late surge here late in the season. There's trade value for him right now. He's a Boris client. You're gonna have to pay a boatload of money to keep him after 2021. I think you can go and get some starting pitching for him. There's definite trade value. You look at who else is on that roster. Who are you going to trade where you're going to get great value for at this point right now? You're not going to trade Rizzo. You're not going to trade Baez. Those are kind of the two guys I would say are kind of your centerpieces. Schwarber, you're not going to probably get a whole lot for him.
You could get something.
Well,
American League.
The value is what he's saying, though. I mean,
all right.
Think about it on the dollars, what you're going for. Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy to think about, but I think if this all just if the next 10 days here does not go well, they're not in the postseason. Obviously, they haven't given Madden a contract to this point. They're not going to now. They'll bring in a new manager, and they've got to address the starting pitching. You look at how old Cole Hamels is. He's worn down here in the second half of the year. John Lester hasn't been as good as he's been the last few years. Obviously, Kyle Hendricks. But to be honest with you, is Kyle Hendricks a guy that you want as your number one?
No.
To me, he's more like a 2 or a 3.
I'd say he's a 3.
And I'm trying to think who else.
Quintana.
He's been really good until the last couple of starts where he struggled. But he's another guy I would put as kind of in that 2-3 range.
So are you saying?
And what do you think about Darvish? I mean, Darvish has improved a lot this year. He's still not an ace, but.
Right,
he's a solid 2.
He's a solid 2-3. But that's what you've got. Then you've got 3 guys who kind of fall in that 2-3 range, and I think we're at the very end of Hamels and Lester. So I think you really need to. The starting pitching needs to be addressed, and obviously everybody's looking for bullpen arms. That's the hardest thing to get, and how much value you put into it. The Cubs have really struck out twice there with Morrow and now Kimbrel as well. So. That's kind of a crapshoot there, but I could see some really big changes coming.
But you say if they're sending KB, it's going to be for an arm?
Well, who knows? And then
who goes to third then? Baez?
No. Well.
Or the new kid?
I don't know.
Nico. Bodie's not there anymore.
No.
Where's
pretty
Bodie
much,
at?
Right now, they've been playing Bodie at second some. He played there last night.
He got sent down. Oh, he did? He's up, sorry.
Yeah, no, he played second last night.
Who's the rookie? The Nico?
Nico Horner, and I don't know what his position flexibility is, if he is a guy that could play second or third. The other question they're going to have to address, what do you do with Castellanos, who's been really good for him since coming over from Detroit, but obviously he's going to want a huge contract now, being that he's a free agent and what he's done. Do you pay money for a guy like that, or do you let him go? They got a lot of questions there. I think, but this is the optimal time, I think, where you could get the most for KB, because what happens is if you don't do the move now, then you're not going to probably get a whole lot because he's going to be in a contract year here in a couple years.
Winter meetings are going to be interesting. I'm looking at the White Sox roster. See what would be over there, because that's where I think. Why?
Surge.
Yeah, I mean Madden's going to be their next coach, so see who would.
Poor Surge.
He'll trade for KB.
Why are you picking on Surge all of a sudden?
He's going to be their next coach.
I was listening to some on the way in today, MLB radio. There was
Set
a
him straight, Coss.
guy on there that said there could be 11 managerial changes this year.
Definitely.
Which would be more than we've ever had in one single season. Usually you get 5, 6, maybe, but 11.
Is Bochy out in San Fran?
Yeah, he's
his run's
gone.
done.
But then you've got, like, obviously San Diego. I think they kind of maybe thought that they were going to be a little better than they've been.
Okay.
They could let go of Andy Green.
They're not mentioning Gardy in Detroit, are they?
No, Gardy.
Okay, that's not his fault.
No.
He's just an interim manager till they find somebody.
But White Sox was one of the names that was brought up. I think he'll probably be gone.
Feel bad for Rick Renteria.
Yeah. So I don't know where the Cubs will go. Girardi?
He's not an analytics guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's why, Yankees weren't big on him either anymore. He didn't want to be an analytics guy. And, you can watch Moneyball and see how that goes. I mean, that's just a butting of two heads, two styles. So, no, that's going to be interesting.
Because of that movie, we lost Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It was because of that movie?
Thanks a lot, Brad Pitt.
Completely because of that movie?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay. All right, well, we got to take a quick break before the top of the hour. Koss, we appreciate your time, my friend. You'll be at Two Bell Stadium on Friday night?
Yep, PV Central tonight, and then Bettendorf Cedar Falls tomorrow night. So,
following Matt Koss,
78.
78, yeah,
Yep.
and Matt Caff is 88, so that's where I got that off. Matt Koss, 78 on Twitter. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming in. We appreciate it, and good luck on the home renovation.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for going out last night to Oscar's Pub and joining Scott Stowe Live, and that's going to be every Wednesday. We'll have live music. I think the following week is going to be Doug Brundy's out there, maybe, if I read that right, or Scott. Was it Scott? Doug? Anyway, we'll figure it out, and you'll have live music every Wednesday at Oscar's Pub. And also, Saturday, October 12th is Beer Fest, an all-day event celebrating beer and fun, beer pong, flippy cup contest, a Van's Bread Nugget eating competition. Then live music at 4:30 starts with the Betterman, and then at 7:30 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, performing for the first time in the Quad Cities, Pat McGurdy. He's bringing his big hit Sexton Beer. Tickets are on sale now through the Oscars Pub Facebook page. It's for $5, $10 day of, so make sure you get them in advance, guys. That's Beer Fest, Saturday, October 12th, Oscars Pub, featuring Pat McGurdy.
This is Matt Koss of the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
The Circle Tap in Davenport is your place to catch all the action this football season. Kick back on Sundays with $2 cans and enjoy the NFL Sunday Ticket. Plus, make the Circle Tap your home on Saturdays with their college football specials. Get $2 cans and $6 domestic pitchers during all Iowa games. Plus, during every game, enter to win a weekly black and gold cooler gift basket valued at over $100. Enjoy great food, great drinks, and great friends all football season long at the Circle Tap, West Locust Street, Davenport.
When storm damage hits, All Major Restorations is your insurance claim specialist. Loose or missing shingles, dented siding, or damaged windows. All Major Restorations of the Quad Cities works with your insurance company, making the process quick and easy. The insurance company has people fighting for them. Let All Major Restorations work for you. Residential, commercial, and industrial. There's a reason they have an A+ accredited Better Business Bureau rating. Storm damage estimates are always free. Visit amrestorations.com. All Major Restorations of the Quad Cities.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
At a time of personal loss, we each express our feeling in our own way. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory recognize that no one service is right for everyone. That's why we offer various options for the most appropriate service, the most fitting farewell, and personalized attention to detail. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
You're right on par in your M&M golf cart.
M&M Golf Cars, your authorized club car dealer, invites you to check out the new Onward by Club Car. Onward's all-new accessories personalize nearly every detail to fit your lifestyle. Customize yours at mmgolfcars.com. 0% financing for 24 months extended through the end of September. M&M Golf Cars, Bettendorf.
In your M&M golf cart. M&M golf carts.
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Hey hunters, time to get ready for fall hunting season. Get your hunting gear, arrows, and bow tuned up at R&R Sports in Bettendorf. Try out a new bow or crossbow on their new indoor range before you buy it. Bows from Matthews, Hoyt, Bowtech, and PSE are in stock. Crossbows from Raven and PSE. Maybe it's new guns and ammunition you want. Shop guns from Benelli, Stoker, Franchi, Springfield, Ruger, and Remington. For fishing, R&R Sports has it all, including live bait, minnows, and crawlers. Their bait is guaranteed to catch fish or die trying. Online at rnrsportsinc.com.
Hey, Quad Cityans, don't forget Van's Pizza and More is now in Bettendorf. Yep, right out there by the TBK Plex at the corners of Forest and Middle Grove Road. They have so many awesome daily specials. Check this one out, $12.99 today for any large pizza. That's amazing. No half and halves, please. Remember, they're a carry-out or delivery establishment. They'll have that pizza hot and ready in 10 minutes to pick up or call and have it delivered. Delivery is limited. That's Van's Pizza and More, 563-232-1396. Once again, 563-232-1396. And they're located at 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf. Check it out.
Like we mentioned earlier, big series starting tonight in Wrigley between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Give you a score update. Brought to you by Harrington's Pub. Last night the Cubs lost 10 in the 10 innings, 3-2 to the Cincinnati Reds. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the Washington Nationals 5-1. Padres beat the Brewers 2-1. The White Sox beat the Minnesota Twins 3-1. And the Athletics beat the Royals 1-0 in 11 innings. We got 2 games tonight. We have NCAA football. We got Houston at Tulane. And we've got NFL football.
Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's right. Jacksonville.
Tennessee's still 1.5 point.
1.5 point favorite. The home dogs, Jacksonville.
I'm all over Jacksonville in this.
Yep, like we said earlier in the last hour, since 2003, divisional dogs, and when I say that, the underdog, the team that's not favored, and that it would be Jacksonville in this. Since 2003, the divisional dog in September has gone 56.2 against the spread. So far, they're 7-5 against the spread. And also teams that start the year 0-2, and Jacksonville is currently 0-2, has covered 55.6% of the time in week 3. And there is sharp action on the total. It opened up at 40. Some places it moved to 39.5, 39. I think it's gone even further. I think our friends at Elite Sportsbook over there at Rhythm City have it 38.5, and I believe our friends at William Hill down at Isla Capri and Bettendorf have it at 38 also. Sometimes there's some crazy things. I had to reach out to my friend Colin at Isla Capri and say, hey man, is the app okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm standing in my living room, and it says I'm not in the state of Iowa.
Uh-oh.
I just think that what he told me was that it over the night it had shut down to like do an update because they have more downloads than they expected to. So,
oof.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good problem to have, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
They'll get it fixed. Those little techie, nerdy guys always do, right, Sergi?
I got something for you guys, gentlemen.
Lay it on me.
Are you sure? You ready?
National Pirate Day.
Are you serious?
Is it really National Pirate
National Talk Like a Pirate Day?
September 19th, 2009 is National Talk Like a Pirate Day. Boy, is this annoying. Out of all the national days we have, this is the one that's up there.
Really? Why does this bother you?
I don't know.
Because Chip likes it?
No, I don't know. Does he? I mean, did he do a post?
Probably.
I know he has in the past or whatever else. How to observe hashtag Talk Like a Pirate Day? Well, get your sea legs and barrel of rum. Feel free to join in anytime your own version of Piratese. Learn how to talk like a pirate, matey. And there's also a website you can go to as well, which is weird. They share this day with National Pawpaw Day. Now, first thing you're going to think is that, like, Southern
Dogs?
Grandpa?
No, it's
What?
dogs.
No, it's not. There's a lot of National Dog Days, though. There's way too many of those.
Well, what's pawpaw?
National Pawpaw on the third Thursday in September. Pawpaw is a forgotten American fruit.
Pawpaw?
Yeah, it's a creamy mango banana flavored pawpaw is what it is. Despite their
Why is it
tropical
forgotten?
taste and appearance, many pawpaws grow natively in the United States with over 60 varieties of pawpaw to choose from. The fruit's character changes slightly in each one.
What's it look like?
Kind of like a light colored mango.
Yeah, sure. There's orchards.
Like a pawpaw daiquiri.
As part of United States history, rumors suggest pawpaw was George Washington's favorite dessert. Presidential farmer Thomas Jefferson cultivated the tree at Monticello. Additionally, while Jefferson served as minister to France in 1786, he shipped pawpaw seeds to friends living there. National Pawpaw Day, National Talk Like a Pirate Day, and finally National Butterscotch Pudding Day. Did I come to?
Down my favorite pudding.
Didn't I come in too early with that? Didn't you and Rosso have a conversation about something like this once? Butterscotch pudding.
Butterscotch pudding has always been my favorite pudding. Give me some of that
talk
pudding.
about that ever.
Butterscotch Pudding Day offers a sweet taste of wholesome and creamy dessert. Brown sugar and butter star in the recipes for butterscotch pudding.
I wish I had a bowl of it right now so I could eat it in Anderson's ear. Just slurp me some butterscotch pudding. T-Roy, what you doing? I just over there eating some pudding.
Jay, would you rather hear T-Roy eat hard shell tacos on air or
It never
butterscotch
bothered me
pudding?
one bit. I didn't even
know,
hear
I
it.
didn't even care.
I didn't even hear it.
Remember
it
from the
had
movie?
the show.
Yeah.
What was the movie? Lunch, dinner with the numbskulls or whatever.
Dinner with Schmucks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say eat my pudding.
I've got a nice recipe here for
You can eat my
butterscotch
pudding, T-Roy.
for a butterscotch pretzel parfait.
All right.
Prep time is 5 minutes, but it does take 1 hour to chill. Cook time is 10 minutes.
You got a
Prep
recipe
time's
for
5
that?
minutes.
I got a recipe
But you
right
have to
here.
go to the store and get all these ingredients that you don't carry. And
Okay,
then
that's a
you
good
let
point.
it chill for an hour.
That's
okay.
a good point. Yeah. You have to
Yeah.
go to your store. Yeah.
I like to get the butterscotch shake at Whitey's.
I mean, do you have fresh butterscotch and vanilla extract in your pocket right now?
No,
You just
I'm
had
not
to see
80.
No, all you need is you do need a lot.
I got me a pocket full of Werther's Originals.
Want some candy there, T-Roy?
I want to talk to you about diabetes.
You want to talk about diabetes? Don't be eating these
All right,
damn
Jay,
Werther's
let's-
Originals.
You got one pirate joke. What do you got?
I wish I had one off the top of my head. It's got to be something to do with pirate walks into a bar, but I can't remember. What's a pirate? Give me a pirate joke.
It's pirate's favorite fast food restaurant.
Long John Silver's.
Arby's.
Arby's, yeah.
All right.
Some-
Some get T-Roy 2 in a row here.
What else
What's
is
the
there?
pirate's favorite letter, T-Roy?
R.
No, it's the C.
That's great.
There you go. That's one for the kids out there.
Oh, that's a good one. I can't wait to tell that to my kids. That's
Yep.
so good. That's a good one. I totally forgot what I was coming up with there.
The one was the pirate walks into a bar with the steering wheel in his hands right in front of him. The bartender says, "Hey, what's with the steering wheel?" He goes, "It's driving me nuts."
Yeah.
You like the C one better than that one?
Yeah, I like the C one.
All right.
That's a good one. So, National Talk Like a Pirate Day. Feel free to tell those jokes at happy hour to everybody. What's going on there? Yeah, this week we'll have Rosso in soon. Bye week for Iowa, which is fine. They need that for their secondary and everything else. T-Roy,
Yeah.
there's a story
Just
out
think
there.
about butterscotch pudding.
Yeah. About this crazy guy. Erickson sent this to me, by the way. Just said,
Yeah.
hey, did you see this?
No.
There is a guy that went into casino in Las Vegas, right?
Boy, yeah.
And we talk all the time about parlays or money lines or whatnot. The guy put $89,000 on the Patriots and the Cowboys.
Is what money line?
Money line, very good, because that would be crazy if he gave up those amount of points in a parlay, right?
Right.
Yes. So this $89,000 bet that this guy did. Yeah. He went into the Caesars book, according to Ben Fox from ESPN. Placed a 2-team moneyline parlay. This was last night. $89,000 to win $4,500.
That's
The Patriots are currently minus 5,000. The Cowboys are currently minus 4,000.
89 to win 4. What's the percent on that return there?
Well, it's 4.5%.
Better than he's gonna get in the bank in 2 days.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, even if you put that in a CD in 6 months, it's not going to net him any more than 2.6. I don't think.
Someone else did it when in Caesar's book and placed a $1,000 bet on the Patriots and the Cowboys to win $45. So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking at doing things like that, if you like a bet out there, it's really not. I wouldn't say okay.
I would say this: in the NFL, there probably hasn't been two more sure things ever than this, right?
Okay. And that's what I was saying to Erickson. I texted him. I said, if I like a game, the spread this week, there's no doubt I will throw them in on the just sprinkle it with the money line just to add it a little bit more to it. Get back $1 here or
I'm
there.
giving Surge 33, right?
Yes, I believe so, Surge. Yes. Yeah.
What about on the Jets? We're going to do that one too?
I think we should dabble into the top 3 in college football, or top 2 in college football. Check out those spreads.
Okay.
The top, what, Clemson and Alabama top 2 or?
Yeah. There's a 41 or 41 and a half for Clemson, and I think 39 for Alabama.
Yeah, well, here's the,
chump schools like
we
Clemson,
might as well find like 5 money lines that we like, and like you said, the return, and just put down 20 on something, and just walk away with it. It doesn't matter. Walk away with like $11.
Alabama favored by 38 and a half over Southern Miss. Still take Alabama. It's at Alabama.
A lot of times these money
Ohio
lines are off the
State
board.
at home against Miami of Ohio, favored by 39 and a half. And then the largest one is, out of your top 10, Clemson at home over Charlotte, favored by 41 and a half.
Okay, but those money lines are off the board. That's the problem.
Right.
So
I'm saying
some of-
take the favorites minus the points.
Oh, you like those? You like giving up the points on those?
Those 3 teams at home, all trying to be big swinging fellers there.
Hello.
Fellers, not
That's
fellers.
my wooden leg.
That's not my leg.
I'm starting to like National Talk with a Pirate Day.
Are you now? Are you sure?
How does a pirate get food delivery?
How's that?
Postmates. I just made that up.
I can tell.
I just made it up. No?
Oh, wow.
I like that you jumped right in on Long John Silver's. Like, you didn't even hesitate. And he was waiting on it there to come back with Arby's. Like, it was like, you were really ready for that.
Oh, I set him up.
Yeah.
Thought it was Long John Silver.
I stumbled. I was like, I don't know what he likes. I can't even think that fast.
I think it would be Long John
You
Silver.
would think,
Apparently
but
it's
it's not.
Arby's.
So Erickson's got one out there. It's how much did a pirate charge his buddy to pierce his ears? A buccaneer. That's a good one.
Is there any others out there?
Then he did
Is there
the
any other out there?
he did the steering wheel one too.
Is there any other dumb pirate
There
jokes?
are.
A buccaneer?
There are. I see what you did there.
Yeah. It's so dumb. It's good. It's like
Where does a pirate keep his ears? Under his bucking hat.
No.
Buccaneers, bucking hat.
I get it now. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
There's some good ones and there's bad ones.
I know,
apparently.
yeah,
We've learned this
definitely,
today live on the air.
Yesterday, I talked with Metcalf a little bit. I'll talk with you briefly. Eli Manning.
Wah, wah, wah. Just gonna do what's best for the team.
What about him?
Hey guys, I'm Eli. I don't mind. I'll sit.
Is he Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Whoa! Not even a thought?
What's the question?
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Why is there a question?
What is he? He's 112 and 112 or 116 and 116 career.
Eli Manning is the reason that the Patriots don't have 8 Super Bowl rings. MVP in both Super Bowls.
Eli was in the grasp, man. They had him, and he somehow stumbles out and throws it to David Tyrell or Tyree, or was it
Tyreek?
I mean, whatever, makes an incredible catch. I mean, listen, the guy. I'm not a Giants fan, you know that, but I'm not even an Eli fan.
Okay, but you had to play him twice a year for this entire time. Your Cowboys did. Give me one Sunday that you were like, oh man, Eli and the Giants. You can't. Even in your worst years.
Well, no. I mean, they screwed us out of going to the Super Bowl. We were 13-3.
But going into it, though, you never sat there and were like, oh man, Eli and the Giants.
He always gave us fits, man. Until he started getting older and that team just started breaking down around him. He gave us fits.
I'm being a contrarian. I believe that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame only because I don't think it's that big of a deal to get in the National Football League Hall of Fame. I don't think it's nearly as hard as it is to get in the baseball one.
Listen, he won 2 Super Bowls. You can't take that away from him, and he won it against the Patriots.
He's one of 5 people to win 2 Super Bowls. Yes. And I know you guys weren't listening yesterday. Do you know who they are?
1 of 5 to win 2 Super Bowls.
1 of 5 quarterbacks to win 2 Super Bowls. I'm sorry, to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Sorry, two quarterbacks.
2 MVPs.
2 Super Bowl MVPs, yes.
Well, Brady's one.
Brady is one.
Is Bradshaw one?
Bradshaw is another.
Aikman only won 1 MVP. Emmett got the other, and then James Washington got that. Peyton Manning probably got 2.
I believe so. Let me take a look at my notes.
There's how many total? 5 total?
Yes.
Let's see. So I got Brady, I got Bradshaw, and I got Peyton Manning. Probably Bart Starr.
Bart Starr is one, yes.
And so I need one more, or is that it? I got 4, and he's now the 5th, or is there 5 including him, or 5 and then him?
Right now. Like I said, he is going by the numbers here. All right, yeah, he's one of 5 players in NFL history with multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Multiple Super Bowl MVPs.
So I nailed it.
No, and he's one of 5. You said Brady, yes?
Yes.
You said
Brady,
Bradshaw, yes?
Bradshaw, Peyton, and Bart Starr.
No, it's not Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, Joe Montana.
and welcome Adam Rosso to the show from WHBF. Yes, it was Joe Montana. So, and all of them, except for Brady, because he can't be in right now. All of them will be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. And I think he's in top 10 in NFL passing too. He's got all the record books for the Giants.
He's in.
What
All right, let me
Metcalf
ask
was
you this.
asking if his last name was Smith, would people think of it automatically?
Yes.
What if he didn't play in New York?
He won 2 Super Bowls.
What if he didn't play New York and won them for the Los Angeles Chargers or San Diego Chargers?
Yeah.
Perfect. Still 2 Super Bowls.
I mean, the weird thing, I think he's in too, but I just, you can go down, he's probably about the 12th best quarterback of the last 15 years. I mean, right? I mean, you wouldn't.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Romo?
No.
Yes.
Whoa.
Romo's stats are 10 times better than Peyton or Eli's.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think, if you want my honest opinion, neither of them are good enough to be Hall of Famers, but the NFL Hall of Fame is a lot less stringent than most Hall of Fame.
Romo's numbers, I believe, are better than Kurt Warner's.
Warner's not in yet, correct?
Warner's not in. Warner should be in.
Warner should be in.
But I would not put Eli ahead of. I mean, you can rattle them off the top 4 or 5 we all know, but then he's not better than Big Ben. He's not better than Phillip Rivers. That defense, especially in the first Super Bowl. I mean, I know he drove down and obviously they had the helmet catch and everything else, but the defense. I mean, that you're playing an 18-0 team and they swarmed the hell out of Brady in that entire offense that game.
But it's the same thing as the '85 Bears. I mean, punky QB.
Is Jim McMahon in the Hall of Fame? No.
But
Okay, I was going to say.
Was he all that good?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Trent Dilfer's not in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys that win Super Bowls with leading their defense, and Eli was definitely one of them. I think, obviously, the helmet catch adds to the lore, and him, scrambling, getting out of the sack, and throwing it downfield. I get that.
I mean, he led that, and before that win, by the way, he beat a 13-3 Cowboy team on the road, and then he went to Green Bay and beat Brett Favre, and then he went and won the Super Bowl. I'm telling you that he did it. He was throwing the passes. It wasn't just you're thinking of one game where the defense did get to Brady. Well, the defense had to get to Brady because they couldn't have kept up offensively. They didn't. It was a team victory, but Eli. I don't like Eli. I don't, but he's a Hall of Fame.
I also think if they don't beat the Patriots twice, it's also, like all this stuff adds up, right? His name's Manning, plays in New York, wins 2 Super Bowls, but then he also beats the greatest dynasty of all time twice, and only one other team has beaten them. Right? They would have eight rings. They'd be 8-1 then.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds to it too, and I think that obviously should mean something. I think especially the perfect season one should really mean something. The other Patriots team when. With Manningham and everything, that Super Bowl, they weren't anything special. I mean, out of all the Belichick-Brady teams. But obviously the perfect season, we could be looking at another one this year, right? Right, guys?
Yep.
We are.
we talked about it.
They're not going to lose their division, so that's 6 straight wins.
Who's more likely to go? Is it going to be 16-0 or 0-16? In that division.
I think that.
For sure,
Miami, yeah.
More likely.
Eli Manning's in the Hall of Fame. Warren Moon's will get in the Hall of Fame. Warren Moon is in the Hall of Fame. I'm trying to figure out which one is going to be like that. Your Mendoza line. You're gonna for the rest of the time. You're gonna compare the two.
See, the thing with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's not like the Baseball Hall of Fame where there is this Mendoza line. There's not.
Yep.
It's not measured on stats. It's not measured on Super Bowls. I mean, if you look at stats,
you're right.
Bradshaw and Aikman, their stats aren't that great because they didn't throw the ball.
We automatically look at home runs and wins. 500 home runs, okay, they're in. 300 wins, okay, they're in. We start right there, and then it just trickles down from there.
So if it's Hall of Fame and you're famous, and guess what? If you last name was Manning and you got to play in New York, that's part of it. Your last name's Romo, you play for the Cowboys, you're famous, you're in. I mean, you had to be on good teams and you had to be famous. That it works that way. All right. I mean, Phillip Rivers, I don't know if he makes it into the Hall of Fame.
That's the interesting thing, right?
I don't think he's a household name.
Is his career record better than Eli? Like, if you want to talk stats and everything, it's all got to be better.
He's just this week. He will pass Eli Manning for most consecutive starts in NFL history as number 2. This week he will.
I mean, listen,
it's an interesting argument, though. You're right,
but I don't think he gets in as a Hall of Famer just because of. And he played on some great teams.
He did, and they've been to only one AFC Championship game that same year when the Patriots were perfect.
It's where you end up playing, okay? If all of a sudden he wins a Super Bowl, then we're maybe changing the story a little bit on him.
All right. In his career, since he took over starting, all right, Phillip Rivers has only gone under 4,000 yards passing 3 times. That's all the way back to 2006. He led the league in touchdown throws in 2008. Led the league in passing in 2010. Led the league in completions in 2015. That doesn't mean too much. Led the league in yards per game in 2010 as well. Now, if we look at Eli, and I know I guess it's going to come down to he slayed the Giants, right? The Giant.
Yeah.
Okay, going all the way back to, let's see. Since he took over starting halfway through, I think it was like week 11 in 2004. But as season, we'll go all the way back to 2005. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, in those 14 years, 7 seasons below 4,000, 7 over. Led the league in interceptions 3 times. He didn't lead the league in much outside of interceptions and longest pass play that season.
I think the hard thing now, because the NFL Hall of Fame doesn't value stats, but we're in the age of fantasy football where we all value stats. But historically, it was as much or more about winning, getting the ring, than it has been about leading the league in passing, and that's where I think he's a great test case for that, right? Because it's all about winning the title. It's the ultimate team sport, trying to win a title, right?
But it's Marino too.
Yeah, but I mean, he was. Actually, Vasco and I had this conversation in the Monday Night Opener. I mean, Dan Marino would probably be a tie. He's probably your 4th, 5th best quarterback of all time. If he's playing right now, he would have all the records. There's no doubt in my mind he'd have all the records. Would he win a title? I don't know. but he would be he'd be ahead of Breeze, he'd be ahead of Brady, he'd be ahead of Manning.
Oh,
With
if he had- I mean, if
because
he
of
had
the
the-
rules right now and the way the game is played, he'd be thrown for 6,000 yards every couple. You know what I mean? Like 25 years ago, he's thrown for what?
So
4,000
here's a
yards.
name that's been thrown out there on the Heritage Pub Facebook comment thread. Mike Vick, if he didn't go to jail, what do you think he would have done? That's a really tough one for me, and I like Michael Vick. Big
Well,
fan.
I mean, he
So Erickson said that he changed the game, and I said he didn't change the game permanently.
He thrived in that offensive what's his face the first year
In Atlanta, I don't even know who they were.
No, when he
You're
got
talking
to
about
Philly.
Philadelphia.
When he got
Oh,
to
Chip
Philly.
Kelly.
Chip Kelly, yeah, he thrived in that. Listen,
But
I mean, and he was exciting.
But he was a
in Atlanta.
backup.
But he took over the starting job.
Yeah, but I mean, he still, like, when he came in, it was nice to have.
He was Donovan McNabb's
It
backup,
was nice
and
to
then
have
McNabb was
McNabb
gone.
and Vic both tandem, but then Vic by himself, didn't really do a whole lot with it.
I don't know. That's a great question because so they go to the NFC Championship game the one year that they win in Green Bay, and then they end up getting to, I think they played the Eagles actually in that NFC Championship game, and then he got hurt, or was he hurt before that? I mean, the one thing with him is what's his shelf life, right? What was his shelf life? The way he played,
Right.
his speed. You were seeing it with Cam.
So
I mean,
you're talking
Cam.
about, like, he left to go to jail. If he keeps playing the way he played, I normally hate to say this, but the odds of him getting injured, they're saying this about Lamar Jackson right now.
Yep.
Even Rodgers said, I'm worried about Lamar Jackson, the way he runs. If they run him this many times in regular season games, he's going to get himself hurt.
But here's the deal that I never understood with any of these. Is the same thing with Kaepernick. Like, run the offense and do it.
Right.
You got a 4-year shot. Most NFL careers are 3-4 years. Like, just do it and try to win a Super Bowl. And I think that's what Harbaugh saw with Kaepernick. Said, screw it. I got him for 2 or 3 years. I don't know how long I'm going to be the coach. Let's try to win. Let's make everybody cover this guy in the run and the pass. And I think you're seeing it with the Ravens. I said this to Vasco on Sunday. To me, they're the most fascinating team right now this year.
I agree. I like
just to like max it out, right? Kind of like what they did with Cam. Max it out. Run Cam on 3rd and short. Who cares if he gets dinged? You only got a certain amount of time to win a Super Bowl. And if the guy's going to be a good quarterback or he's going to change the way defenses have to play you, go for it.
And these are not big, slow quarterbacks that are going to run it and have that much of a chance to get hurt. These are still big, athletic guys. These are extremely athletic, some of the best athletes in the world.
Vic was not that big, though.
Vic wasn't big, but I'm saying Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton size guys, those guys can run the ball. And I know Jackson's quite a bit faster, but Cam's still smooth, and he's so big, he can run the ball like that. He does it so fluently. When he steps back,
look at the greatest quarterbacks we've had in the last 15 years. How many Super Bowls, outside of Brady, how many Super Bowls has anybody been in? I don't think any of them have been in more than 3, right? Ben's been in 3, and that's it. That's the max.
Eli 2.
Rodgers
1.
1. Breeze 1.
Peyton 2.
3. Peyton's 3. Peyton and Ben are 3. That's it. I mean, that's...
What do you mean? For how
Peyton
many?
had 2 with the
How many
Broncos.
won or how many played?
No,
how many you been to?
Played
Russell
in.
Wilson's been in 2.
So nobody's been to more than 3 besides Brady in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So the argument on my side, this is what I'm saying is, Colin Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl. Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl. Like, what do you want? Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl. We don't know what the book's still out on him, right? Like,
Joe Flacco.
If you Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. If you got a guy that makes defenses in the NFL do something completely different, go for it. I'm telling you guys, that's why the Ravens are fascinating to me this year. Now, last year you saw in the playoffs, they said, well, if you can't throw a pass, or you're going to try to run the ball 40 times, you're not going to beat us. But maybe they got another dimension. Maybe he's a little bit more savvy. They know how to use him, and I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing to me.
I hear what you're saying, but the thing is as we look at it, okay, of the guys that ran the football like that, how many of them did win a Super Bowl? I'm not saying get to. 1. Cam did not win. Vic did not win one. I mean, I'm saying, I hear what you're saying. It's because eventually the defenses are so smart in the NFL, you have to be able to be an accurate passer, or they're going to figure it out. That's just, I like your
I know,
point.
but I mean, I just think that, speaking from a Vikings fan, Got to get Kirk Cousins. Got to do that. Do we? Did we need that? You
No,
had a
you-
great defense. Did you need somebody? You can get to the Super Bowl without a superstar
you had
quarterback.
ace,
You might
man.
not be able to win one, Troy. You might be right on that, but you sure as hell can get there. I just think it's an interesting. This whole thing's an interesting. Same thing. We'll see. Is Mahomes? We'll see when Pat Mahomes gets there, and if he can repeatedly get there
But is he,
once Brady's
is he that
done.
type of quarterback, though? See, he's throwing the ball.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he's still the next big thing.
He can move around a little bit, too. He's moving around enough. Pat Mahomes reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. Those are the two. They have the scrambling
Who's been
speed.
to one Super Bowl?
Yeah, they have the scrambling speed to get around and out. Now, is it Rodgers' fault that he's only been to one Super Bowl? I would say it's that front office. That front office has screwed Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. He's one of the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks of all time. He's only been to one Super Bowl. That's not good. That's not good enough to me. He's been to 4 NFC Championship games, right? 3 or 4? 3? Seattle, they beat the Bears, and Atlanta. I mean, they got steamrolled twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one they should have won, they lost it. That was self-inflicted. That's not the front office's fault. When you're 20-0 in Seattle and you lose the game because you can't field an onside kick.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line. That's where, I mean, obviously anybody and everybody would want the generational 15-year quarterback. But the reality is those 15-year quarterbacks, if you're maybe getting to 2 Super Bowls. Maybe.
You brought up a different team, and we'll move over off of this in a second. But Eli Manning, and it was Colin Coward that brought this up. I think it was on Tuesday that if he was on a West Coast team, he would have been replaced a long time ago because the West Coast moves different than the East Coast. West Coast likes new things. They like flashy things. They don't hold on to old memories. They don't hold on to old buildings like the East Coast. It was an interesting take. I don't know how much I put into it. I think it was more the name of Eli and everything
And
else.
furthermore, and I don't know if you guys have covered this, he's not starting this week because his record is 500. There's nobody that can tell me otherwise. He does not want to be a below 500 quarterback. His career record is exactly 500. Look it up.
Yeah, no, I know it. It's 116.
He does not want to be. He doesn't want to go lose this week and then something happen and he's a below 500.
You think
quarterback.
he had a
I'm
meeting with Pat
100%
Shermer?
guaranteed that's why they said we'll see through a couple games, but if I'm at the 500 mark, I'm done. I'm dead set. Like there's no doubt in my mind he would do that.
You think Shermer called him in, or even before the season?
Before the season, this was all because, and I think Will Kane was making this point. What changed in 3 weeks? What changed? They knew they were going to be awful defensively. They knew they had 1 or 2 weapons. They knew they didn't have a great offensive line, and now they're like, oh, well, since we got smoked both weeks, we're going to throw in Daniel Jones.
And Shermer he's his shield, and he just says, yeah, obviously he's not happy, but he said he'll do whatever it takes for the team to make it work.
Absolutely, it's because if they would have won one of these 2 games, I bet he's still starting this week. I bet it was until that point where they're like, wow, if my career record's below 500, I don't want that on my resume. I'm still like, these guys have egos. You got to remember that all quarterbacks, all professional athletes are egotistical, right?
Yeah.
They all have egos. He doesn't want to be a below 500 quarterback for his career. I don't blame him. I'm not blaming the guy. I'm just saying that read between the lines. That's why this didn't happen 3 weeks ago, because they were like, all right, we're
Before the
sticking with
season.
Eli. But then once he got to the 500 mark, like, I don't want to be a below 500 quarterback
What
for my career.
changes from the offseason when you draft Daniel Jones to all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's before week 3? Or not a bye week? Because I think when we did our preseason, I picked all the games. I said this is the week of Daniel Jones. It was always the bye week. I always went for the bye week for the new quarterbacks. Same thing with Dwayne Haskins.
But none of us are sold on Daniel Jones, right?
I met him over at Monmouth this summer. Really nice kid. Tanny had great things to say about him when we talked, and he told me the biggest thing was just learning everything. Just learning it and basically because there's so much in a playbook, and at college you have multiple years. Not many freshman quarterbacks start. He goes, you have multiple years to learn a system. He goes, now it's just a crash course trying to learn everything, and that's where he said that Alex Tanny was really helpful. That he said a guy like that's been in the system that can just point out terminologies that are similar to what he's worked with in the past or concepts that he's used to. It was a really interesting thing, but nice kid. And like I said, Tanny said he's got the mental tools, the mental makeup, the demeanor.
Where did he play his college ball at?
Duke. He said he's got all that. It's just the physical being able to go out and process it fast enough to make the reads and throw the ball on the money. So we'll see. I mean, I obviously everybody thinks there was a reach to take him at 6. Nobody's going to dispute that, but you're going to give him this entire year to, I mean, he's going to be the starter next year unless he gets hurt, right? Like, so this year's kind of a see what we got. And next year they'll get, whether it's defensive line help or offensive line help or whatever.
Well, I'm sure he's a smart kid. He went to Duke. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily where you came from. I mean, we know there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that end up being really successful that were not from big schools. Romo, one of them, Eastern Illinois, and other examples are out there. But Flacco was good for the beginning of his year. And where did he go? Delaware?
Yeah,
Delaware.
Hi. I mean, Delaware. I guess it doesn't matter that much, but I don't know.
The interesting thing, and I've said this about Trubisky, is you want him to be like 10-3 at Duke or something, right? You want him to at least be he's really making Duke, kind of helping them, moving them to the top of the ACC, right below, let's say Clemson, Miami area. He hasn't really done that. Trubisky didn't do that in his 1 year at Carolina. I don't feel like Josh Allen did that at Wyoming. It's these guys that I know Kyler's at Oklahoma. They obviously are loaded, but he still got him to the playoff. He still won a ton of games. Like, that's why he was, that's why you value that as a quarterback.
And you don't doubt that Kyler Murray's a hell of an athlete. I mean, he could have played baseball.
I mean, it's Deshaun Watson, right? You go back-to-back national championships, you win one and you lose one. I mean, not a lot of guys have that. And if you can't win at Wyoming or Duke, can you win in the NFL? I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's take a quick break. Come back. We'll continue talking. Do you have any buy or sell for us?
Just one on the bye week.
I'm sure they'll lead into some conversation. Perfect.
Hey, remember, guys, if you're out and about today for happy hour, Pints has complimentary Vans pizzas at 5 o'clock. That's every Monday through Friday. You just hop into Pints at 5268 Utica Ridge Road and enjoy some hot, piping fresh Vans pizza from Vans Pizza and More. And if you're running around on Sundays, remember the best Sunday fun day there is, was, and ever will be is at Pints with those $2.50 20-ounce domestic drafts, $3 you call it's, and live music from 6 to 9. We have Dave Ellis this week, and then following up to round out the month at Big Undies, Douglas Brundies. So make sure you get into Pints, 5268 Utica Ridge Road in Davenport.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Hey hunters, time to get ready for fall hunting season. Get your hunting gear, arrows, and bow tuned up at R&R Sports in Bettendorf. Try out a new bow or crossbow on their new indoor range before you buy it. Bows from Matthews, Hoyt, Bowtech, and PSE are in stock. Crossbows from Raven and PSE. Maybe it's new guns and ammunition you want. Shop guns from Benelli, Stoger, Franchi, Springfield, Ruger, and Remington. For fishing, R&R Sports has it all, including live bait, minnows, and crawlers. Their bait is guaranteed to catch fish or die trying. Online at rnrsportsinc.com.
Linex of the Quad Cities is more than a protective coatings company. Linex has a wide variety of vehicle accessories, floor liners, splash guards, rain guards, bug shields, and cargo mats for those rear storage areas. They can also outfit that work vehicle with ladder racks, toolboxes, toppers, running boards, and trailer hitches to goosenecks or fifth wheel hitches, van organizers, and bulkheads. Whether your vehicle is new or used, stop in or call Linex of the Quad Cities today and check out how Linex can help you. Ask for it by name. Linex.
The weekend at Augustana College leads off Saturday the 14th with a men's and women's soccer doubleheader at Thorson Lucan Field. The women host Beloit College at 1:30 and the men tangle at 4. Or you can catch women's tennis as they welcome Illinois Wesleyan and Wartburg on the lower campus courts. Then it's all about family weekend on the 21st. Fresh off a big win, the football team plays host to Elmhurst and a 6 o'clock kickoff. For complete game information, visit augustana.edu. Augustana College, a family-friendly front row seat to big-time small college sports.
With the loss of a loved one, planning a fitting service can be a real challenge. At Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, with our personalized service and attention to detail, you can be confident the service will be everything you wished for. We've been serving families in our area for generations. We would be privileged to serve yours too. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player, from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles, too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town. Once upon a time, everything was fine. No winds thrashed, no hail crashed, no lightning would strike, no fire would ignite. Everything was grand in carefree land. Then one day,
Mom,
yeah?
this story isn't doing it for me. I'm a realist.
Smart kid. It pays to be aware of what's possible so you can protect yourself and your home against it. For affordable homeowners insurance that covers all the real risks, visit jorgenseninsurance.com.
In business, is it better to build your way to growth or buy your way? First Midwest Bank has ideas. It's a critical decision and different for every company. A First Midwest commercial banker can help you weigh your options. Because at First Midwest, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. M&A momentum, strategic momentum, business momentum. First Midwest Bank.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KPOB, Davenport. Join the conversation. Follow ESPN 1170 AM on Facebook and Twitter. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, and we're back. Sergio, you got a big weekend at 11:17, brother. What's going on,
We
man?
sure do, buddy. 1117.
If you know what
I
you mean.
The best house party in the Quad Cities, located at 1117 Mound Street. It's the name of the bar. It's the address. You can't miss it. We have our inaugural golf outing this week.
Any more spots left, bro?
We do have some spots left, so contact me via Facebook.
How much per team?
$75 per person or $300 per team. It includes your golf,
easy math.
beer out on the course. Going to feed you back at the bar. We're going to have some raffle prizes, all sorts of fun stuff for you.
Who's doing your food?
PFG TBC, our friend Jeff Herzberg over there is
he's a bigwig now.
Got some burgers and stuff for us to grill up, and our friends out next door at Baked are going to come over and man the grill for us so we can hang out and have some fun. We got some guest bartenders for the day. It's going to be a good time. So get a hold of me if anybody wants to golf this weekend. It's going to be a good time.
Are you going to get drunk?
What kind of raffle prizes are we looking at over there?
All sorts of them, Jay. We got gift cards, gift certificates for bars. We got keg parties. We got some golf items donated from some of our beer vendors. 7G.
It's perfect.
Iowa Bev's doing some stuff for us. A lot of our
You got one of those cake
restaurants and
parties for me,
bars.
didn't you? I got you one, right?
You told me that you would, so I will go check today.
Yeah.
I'll contact your people.
You know who to contact, right?
I do, yes.
You know what she looks like?
Yep.
Short, curly haired.
Yep.
Okay.
Gotcha. So that's going on this weekend, and we do have our live music from our friend Doug Brundy's tonight at 11:17.
Largest underwear in the business, everybody.
From 8 to 11, down at 11:17, if you know what I mean, in the East Village, Davenport.
I mean, I haven't seen a pair of underwear bigger in my life than what Doug is.
I don't know.
I mean, just saying.
All right.
All right, fellas. I'm
Good
gonna
luck.
head down there right now, so we'll see you
See you
guys later.
tomorrow,
Take care.
Serge?
All right, yep, absolutely.
All right, we'll
Cheers,
be
guys.
down. We'll be down to Isle Capri.
And don't
William
forget,
Hill.
right now, too, Jay, it is voting time for Locals Love Us. So
Yes.
if you gentlemen and ladies that are out there listening, make sure you vote for us. Show sponsors, vote for Rosso and Hawkeye headquarters. Done Right TV, everybody. Okay?
Yes,
Get in
want to
there and
urge you
do
to
it.
go on there and vote. Vote for us. Vote for all of our sponsors, including Dave's Roofing and Siding. Remember that the weather is going to be, the Farmer's Almanac says that the weather is going to be much worse than last winter.
Sure, they're wrong.
So it's time to look at your siding, to insulate your house. It's time to look at your roof, to take care of that. Get a free estimate. Call Ron at 563-650-2837. That's Dave's Roofing and Siding. You gotta get your curb appeal going. You never know. When spring cleaning comes, maybe it's time to buy a new house. So you want to get that. You want to do a little investment in your house. Get a free estimate from Dave's Roofing and Siding. Call Ron at 563-650-2837.
The Hoff.
In studio with us. Adam Rosso from WHBF. Just got done talking some NFL. Even off air, he's still not backing down on that Eli Manning took his own seat as a 500 quarterback, which is a great take. Something I wouldn't even dare to think of. But do you have a buy or sell for? Oh yeah, go on.
Well, there was 2 other quarterbacks that did make it into the Hall of Fame without having a 500 record. Sonny Jurgensen and
Yeah, and the other one, Joe Namath. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean,
it's different though. I think. I mean,
Fame.
What Ross was saying though, the professional athletes, they're they're egotistical. They're looking at things.
I agree with 100%.
And just as much as back then, Jurgensen and Namath, they weren't looking at stats. It's a different day and age. We're all looking at stats still now.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like I said, it's not the same because we don't have a number every single time for like the NBA Hall of Fame or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but we have numbers in our head for Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. So it's now just kind of like, yeah, he should be in. Why? Well, because he won 2 Super Bowls. It's one of those things. 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
And I just think, like I said to you guys off air, that people are gonna say, "Wow, he beat the Patriots twice," and then somebody's gonna say, "Yeah, but he's below 500." Yeah, and then I think deep down, Eli or Eli's people were like, "We don't want that to be in the conversation." A 500 quarterback's a lot different than a
let's
below
be honest,
500.
He lived in the shadow of his brother's entire life, and he has as many Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I don't like Eli. I don't like his pouty face. He's a Hall of Famer. I have to just be honest with myself when I'm making the argument. It's not if I like a guy or not. But you're probably right. He didn't sit himself.
All right. Rasa, what do you have for us, buddy?
Well, Hawks off this week, obviously.
They are.
I'm still recovering, trying to get on a sleep schedule after the
after
22-hour day.
I want to hear about that first. Yeah, well, let's hear about that first. Your day.
Good Lord.
Left here at 6:15. Thought it was getting a little dark on the drive over. I was driving over with Ryan Jaster, our digital manager, and I was like, "Is this my sunglasses, or is there some dark clouds in the horizon?" And
did I pack my sunblock for nothing?
Well, I did have my sunblock along. You better believe I did.
You ain't leaving home without sunblock.
And so we get over there, and I think I told you guys I had the live pregame show with John Schaefer and WOI, the Des Moines station over there, Jeff Woody, the former Cyclone. And so a couple sprinkles, we're live, 10:30, it works out. And then go in and set up the stuff inside Jack Trice, pull up the radar, and there's some different colors on the map. I said, well, we either got to make a break to the car because we were parked 20 minutes away in like the tailgating lots, basically. We either got to make a break now and get all the rest of our gear, or we got to wait a couple hours. Well, we made a break over there, sat in the car for a little bit, kind of tried to wait out some of the rain, came back. Probably 40 minutes before, 45 minutes. So basically, the coaches usually come out, and Kirk will shake the head coach's hands right around 45 minutes before the game, 45 minutes on the countdown clock. So he comes out, but none of the rest of the players are out. Usually the specialists are warming up, and then some of the position groups will come out. Well, nobody comes out. So I, shoot Campbell and Kirk chatting, and I go ask one of the Iowa, I guess he's technically a football ops guy. And he tells me, well, they're waiting to let us know it's going to hit right about 2:30 or so, and we're not sure if they want to keep going or if it's going to dissipate. So he gives me the word, they're coming out, we're going to start on time. Well, then we get through one series. It's not really that bad. At that point, it wasn't really bad, but they had the lightning strike. We go inside, come back out, looks like, okay, all right, we're going to get this going again. Got sunny, and then that second round got dark. So obviously, that's the 2-hour delay. I mean, it's everything a thunderstorm is, thunder, lightning, the whole shebang. So we go up in the press box and hang out because the Jack Trice, the press box obviously is one spot in the photo areas and one of the end zones, and we're up there for a couple hours chatting, watching Minnesota game, watching the Northwestern game, trying to figure out. At one point we all were discussing, would they just cancel this one? Like, how long do you wait, for player safety purposes, and like, do you just, if they restart again, is that it? And if they had to call it again, are they done? Like, how many restarts are too many in football? Because physically, I have to assume the likelihood of injury goes up every time you warm up, cool down. And I think, obviously, the second time was a worse thunderstorm, but I think they definitely wanted to wait it out and say, okay, we're going to restart this one more time, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out fine. Obviously, the storms were done after that. But, we didn't have to go down that road, but maybe had they had another delay after that second restart, would they have said, you know what? I don't know if this is worth it. One bad injury, either team, that could significantly alters their chances in their respective conferences. And so, and they weren't going to, somebody put out there on Twitter, both teams have a bye on 11-2 on November 2nd. And so I saw that. And I literally walked over to the Iowa Media guys, Roe and Chris Brewer and Matt Weitzel.
Yep, Brew Crew, man.
And I
That's my
said,
boy.
you guys, people are putting this out there. Would anybody think to do this? It's right in the middle of everybody's kind of there's no chance we're rescheduling the game on the 2nd. It's either we're playing it tonight or it's done.
Yeah.
And Kirk said that after the game. He was like, nah, it was now or never. We were ready to wait it out as long as we needed to be, but we weren't leaving and trying to coordinate something in the middle of the conference season to come back to Ames when it's a bye week. And I think Iowa would play Wisconsin after the bye, and I think Oklahoma, or it was either Oklahoma or Texas against Iowa State. They weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So whoever put that out there was reckless speculation, as you guys like to use. But
you coined the phrase, man.
So anyway, we get through it, and it turns out to be what for us on deadline would have been a relatively leisurely deadline, 3:00 start. I'm slamming. I'm carrying my laptop into the press conference room. I'm on the phone with Vasco, but I'm losing service. Then I'm going upstairs to talk to him, coming back down, trying to upload stuff, running in and out. It works out, it gets on, and then actually go live with Channel 5 in Des Moines with Schaefer. We just did some analysis right off the top after the Clemson game. And then got on the road. I don't even know what time it was. 11:30. Stopped at a Denny's on I-80 somewhere to get some food. Got back about 3:30, so it was a 21-hour day, 21 and a half hour day.
My goodness.
Did you get the SummerSlam?
I got like a Philly cheesesteak omelet.
Oh, all right.
But with no mushrooms because the mushrooms are canned.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Well, you asked.
Oh, yeah, I ask everywhere I go,
Like,
even here.
Are they canned or are they fresh?
You don't like those canned mushrooms?
No, canned mushrooms are awful. Don't even get out of here with them. On
good
pizza,
tip.
on
That's a good
breakfast things. No, it's slimy.
So, like, if you order a pizza,
Slimy,
hold on,
see,
if you
yeah.
order a pizza, that's why I don't like mushrooms. Because when I was younger, they'd try to feed me mushrooms and they'd be out of can on it, and I don't like the texture. But when you order a pizza, you're
I
like,
like 'em
listen,
either way.
are you like, listen, are they fresh or
Yeah,
are they canned?
absolutely.
And they're like, because I'll know.
Absolutely.
You're like, I'll know. And
I don't
I'll
want to
be-
name the place. Here in Davenport, we were going, it was my family and I, I don't know if we were getting pizza. We were getting something with mushrooms on it. I'm not going to name a place, but the waitress goes, I go, are they real mushrooms or canned? She goes, well, I don't think mushrooms are in season right now, so they must be canned. And my mom goes, you can get mushrooms year round. They sell them year round. And she goes, oh, okay. And just walked away.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want those mushrooms, whatever.
I was like, okay, well, whatever. So, yes, mushroom snob. I even said that to the server. I was like, kind of a mushroom snob, so let's just keep them out of there if they got the canned. There's a slime on canned mushrooms.
I agree. That must be
oil.
why I don't like them.
It's just oil.
It's
I mean, they don't bother me.
I don't eat mushrooms.
I like them fresh too, so I mean, you guys aren't my feelings.
Yeah, I just don't eat mushrooms.
I
Yeah.
like to get my sliced up baby bellas fresh.
Yeah,
Those are nice,
absolutely.
and then I
Saute them up with
Oh,
some
yeah.
onion, put them right on the side with that
Yeah,
sirloin steak, man. That's when you got to do
Morels,
it.
right?
Yeah, those are the ones that when she was talking about in season.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah,
server.
but I mean,
poor server only knows about
I'm not going on the woods picking them. I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
want some either portobellas or just white mushrooms. You know what I
All
mean?
right, what do you got for a buy or sell for us?
Okay, so the buy or sell. A big game this week, obviously, is Michigan at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, are you buying or selling that the loser of this game has zero chance to get to Indy? The loser of the game has zero chance to get to Indianapolis as their division champion, basically.
Well, both of them still have to play Ohio State, correct?
But
Both of them
doesn't
still
matter.
play
Yeah,
Iowa.
Yeah,
I would say yes.
but it's far in their division.
Because here's
west
the deal:
side.
because both of them, Iowa's going to both places too, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a must-win because I don't think either one of them are beating Ohio State. Do you?
It doesn't matter for Wisconsin though.
And both of them, I believe, well, Wisconsin goes to Ohio State. I'm not sure. I can look up if Michigan, I don't remember where that game was last year. I think Michigan hosts Ohio State this year.
I think they do too.
But that hasn't mattered in recent years. But yes, Wisconsin's going to the Horseshoe. Both have to play Iowa, home to Iowa.
It's a good question because I do believe yes for Michigan and I don't know about Wisconsin. I do believe yes for Michigan because I just think it'll get in their psyche.
And Michigan also still has to play Penn State.
And Michigan has to deal with that.
And Michigan State.
If Harbaugh lost, if he loses to Ohio State, is he going to be their coach? All that stuff that's going to continue no matter what. Whereas
Who wins this game?
on paper before the season started, you said it was Michigan, but you look at Wisconsin now. But I mean, I know lesser opponents, but I mean Michigan they struggled. We understand. We still have the Army game in our head. Michigan should win.
I like Wisconsin. I thought I saw the spread was. Did I say it's like 6.5 or 7? I thought it was a little high. Maybe it's come down since then. I think it's going to be a tight game. I mean, these are, Michigan beat them last year. Wisconsin was obviously down, but 2 years ago, Michigan was excellent, just as good. And Wisconsin handled them up at Camp Randall. I think it was 24-14 or 23-14, 23-17. It was, 7 to 10 point game.
It's tough to win up there, man.
That's the thing. I was just going to say that. That's the thing. Other than they had a down year last year.
Michigan was showing me that they were this juggernaut, which they haven't shown me. I would think otherwise, but I mean, it's Wisconsin looking like a very good team.
It's at Randall, Camp Randall, and Wisconsin's -3.
Yeah,
well, that's pretty close to where it should be. Then I think it's going to be a great game. But to me, I said it before the season. I'll say it again. Michigan is overhyped because they're Michigan. Like, I don't, I told you before the season it was going to be Michigan State or Ohio State. Ohio State looks like they're the class of the East, the class of the Big Ten again. And we talked about, why? Because they have the best players. Obviously, Urban Meyer was a good coach, but he's got, I think the Miami, Ohio coach said, it's like they got the first 85 picks in the playground.
Yeah, and that's exactly
That's exactly what it is against a lot of these teams.
It's dead on.
And every time, I've seen Dave Revson before the season, and they do that camp tour. He says, man, when you go to Ohio State, the physical traits, the physical level that these guys are at is different than almost everybody in the country. Like, it's like they're dudes. They are dudes. I mean, that's why they consistently have multiple first-round picks. Like, they are dudes.
Look what they've been putting into the NFL lately.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting in. I mean, we're looking at Haskins is probably going to end up being the starter in Washington.
Yes, by the end of the year. Yep.
By the end of the year. By the way, the rookie wide receiver, Scary Terry.
McLaurin,
Yeah. Looking good.
I mean, Michael Thomas. You got Lattimore. You got
Zeke.
Yeah, just rattle them off. Bosa. Nick Bosa enjoyable. Both Bosas for that matter.
I mean, they've been. Listen. I hate their guts with all my heart, but I mean, they put. Well, I do. I don't hate them like them cheaters. Something's going on, but they're putting out talent.
And this year they got the Conley kid at corner. They got Chase Young at defensive line. They got obviously Fields is looking ridiculous. J.K. Dobbins. I mean, you got these guys.
I don't hate it if my NFL team drafts them. I can tell you that.
It's interesting to me that all the hype machine, just like with Nebraska, this whole hype machine, I think it's nationally driven more than Big Ten driven. I'll say that. Regionally, I don't think people, were as high on Nebraska or Michigan for that matter, because it's one of those things. Like, let's see it. Let's see them get to.
And that's the thing with
where they
Ohio
need to be.
State. If you see them, like let's say when they got beat by Iowa. I mean, even as Iowans, we were like, man, we got them awesome. We did good. But did we think that they sucked?
If they played that game 10 times, would Iowa win more than 2, maybe 3? No, they wouldn't.
And do we think that they sucked because we beat them? No, we knew they were good, and that was a great victory for us.
And it's just like with Purdue last year. I think the issue that Ohio State's gotten into is they've had this one meltdown game the last couple of years, right?
Yep.
Where they've just looked ridiculous. They were unprepared. And now they're saying, well, a new coach, what the guys might not be prepared, know how to play. But, in reality, they still have
superior
the best athletes on the field.
But when you have that many superior athletes and you're trying to coach a superior athlete too, man, I don't coach. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? There's probably a little bit of it where you're trying to coach guys that aren't as easy to coach as per se an Iowa guy is.
Back to the buy or sell. I'm with you, Jay. That's the toughest thing. I think it's a must-win for Michigan. I really do. I don't think they can lose this and then expect not to lose.
I agree with you guys.
They'd have to run the table because Ohio State's not losing more than one game before that Michigan game. So they'd have to run the table because it could be a head-to-head playing game, even if Michigan were to only have this one loss until the Ohio State game. I think it's a must-win for them. I'm selling this one. I agree with you. I think Wisconsin can lose because I think Iowa is going to lose at least one game other than to Wisconsin in the Big Ten. So I still think November 2nd or whatever it is, November 9th at Camp Randall, Iowa, Wisconsin, that's essentially the West Championship game to me. Now, I know one of them could trip up against Northwestern. Maybe Nebraska gets somebody at home because I think they host both Wisconsin and Iowa.
I think Northwestern's down.
But it's one of those things. I feel like Wisconsin can absorb the loss. I don't think Michigan can, and I think you're exactly right when you say if they lose this after losing or after playing so poorly early in the season, and then they have to play Penn State, they have to play Michigan State, then they have to go to Ohio State, a lot of questions about Harbaugh's job and the entire program are going to creep into these guys' heads and their kids. And I think that type of distraction, it could weigh on them. So I'm picking Wisconsin, but it's almost a must-win for Michigan.
I agree with that. And, yeah. Well, we got to go. Rosso, thank you so much for coming in. Enjoy your week off from not having to travel around and everything
get
else.
Some sleep, man.
We will be live from William Hill Casino tomorrow. You guys take care, Quad Cities. Have a hassle-free Thursday.